Y'all know I'm chronically online. And one of the enjoyments of watching sporting events in this day and age is watching it together with your family, your online family. Giglio, you've been a part of this. Sporting events are somewhat more entertaining with all the jokes that are being made on social media. It's a good way to find out what might be going on there on the site. You know, if somebody's covering it, those types of things. I've met some really cool people thanks to Twitter and our mutual appreciation of all things ACC. Hashtag Go ACC. Okay. However, it's becoming less and less fun as of late because it all degenerates into officiating now. All officiating all the time. Now, some of that is the fault of the ACC in college basketball officiating in general. And I almost feel like we could just start the show and ask the central question, what is a foul? Or more specifically, what is flagrant and what is not? Like in the case last night with Judah Mintz. Had he argued that what he was doing on his way to the basket when he elbowed R.J. Davis and was called for a flagrant one, if he had argued with the officials, y'all, I was celebrating before I scored the bucket, and the officials were going, oh, you mean like the other night with what happened with Kyle Filipowski? Gotcha, man. My bad. We'll take that off the board. It's getting me to lose what's left of my hair trying to understand what I've seen from Saturday night to Monday night to Tuesday night in the ACC, man.
Hey, you're looking for uniformity and consistency out of human beings, which is not possible.
Yeah.
I said human beings, but do you really know where the replay? It's the replay that is bringing the flagrant fouls and the contact. That's what's changing on a game-to-game basis.
Yeah.
Because just take all the names out of it because we're not capable in this area of just having a conversation about officiating when we include names, okay? Basketball player on offense goes to the basket, makes a move to the basket. The defender gets in his way, okay? I thought the basketball player going to the basket last night was the aggressor, and there should have been a foul on the aggressor. Okay? That should have just been a foul on the aggressor, and if that team's in the bonus, great, they go to the foul line. If not, it's the other team's ball. In real time, Roger Ayers, who truly is one of the three best officials in the ACC, correctly called that a charge because the contact was initiated by the offensive player. Okay? But you have to go to the monitor now for everything. There can't just be a call. So they go to the monitor, and lo and behold, the contact was Mintz's elbow going into Davis's face.
Do you think it was intentional?
I do not. I think he was making a basketball play.
I agree.
I think R.J. Davis was playing defense. And again, I thought the foul was on Mintz. It either should have been, again, if you're in the bonus, which Carolina would have been, you go to the line, shoot your free throws, move it along.
Yeah.
To go to the monitor, to go to the flagrant, to award the free throws and the ball, it does change how the game is played. It does change the outcome of the game. Again, you need to recognize in real time one of the best officials in the ACC made the correct call. It wasn't until we bring the replay in and go into the super slow motion of, well, what happened?
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes maybe we should just go on the actual flow and intent. So I would go back to the celebration thing to you and say to you, I actually thought they got that right because in real time, it was a guy made a shot, turns around, is not paying attention, and inadvertently hit somebody. The only reason we would even see that is because of the cameras and because of the replay.
Sure.
So to me, I think the more we trust the actual people on the floor, when we say humans, that's when we start veering into this territory of, well, was it flagrant one? Was it flagrant two? Let's go to hockey. Was there blood on the play? Always my favorite. And you got the guy in there cutting his lip with a razor blade like he's Dusty Rhodes or something.
But I think we can all agree it's taken away from the enjoyment of watching college basketball.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we slow down the end game scenarios to such that we can't just let the players play it out. And maybe even to your point.
And that's where,
even to your point, Joe, it's a 40-minute game, and for 38, we say, let's play it out.
That's the thing.
And then we get to the final 2, and we're like, well, let's micromanage all of this.
That's the thing that bothers me the most. I completely agree with you that these are human things. If they had called it differently with R.J. Davis, and that he wasn't really playing defense, he was just stumbling into the area at the right time while Mintz was trying to score, and he's doing what he's taught to do, which is to play through contact and try to score. If they called nothing on that play, I would have been okay with that too. There's things that you're taught, and you're trying to win a game. Maybe you're trying to draw contact to get the and one, which, by the way, this is another inconsistency. We praise North Carolina for doing this and being very successful at getting to the line, but when another team basically tries to do the same thing, it doesn't work for them, and we're like, well, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have fouled. Maybe you shouldn't have raised your elbow. You see where we can't have it both ways? Now, there are some fundamental things that players are taught, and I don't blame Mintz for doing what he did. You can't excuse what Joe Girard did. I mean, the reason why Syracuse lost that game is because Girard, a coach's kid, like the unofficial traveling Boeheim, made one of the most fundamentally unsound basketball moves I've seen in quite some time by trying. Why did you play the basketball back in bounds underneath the basket, dude?
Your own basket. Yeah. It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. But so what happened with R.J. Davis is essentially what happened at the beginning of the game, where they were calling charges on Caleb Love, where I could make the same argument that why should you reward Syracuse for getting guys at the right place at the right time and not really playing defense? So this is a larger conversation about charges and blocks. What happened to calling blocks? Can somebody explain to me what happened to calling blocks?
Unless it's in the circle, the designated circle where you're not allowed to take one.
I get that part, but
it does seem to be everything is a charge.
Everything, the blocks can occur outside the restricted circle, okay? So you can call that too, but they don't seem to be doing it. And on Saturday, it was actually Sunday morning, in the heat of everything that was going off on NC State and North Carolina, I tweeted this out. It's always fascinating to go to doubleheaders like today, meaning that I went to the Cameron Indoor game between Duke and Miami and then the State Carolina game. Went from combat under the basket in Durham to whatever the hot mess was in Chapel Hill. You don't know what to expect game. Damn, I can elevate that and say I don't know what to expect within a game too, because to your point, we're playing it one way for 38 minutes and suddenly it gets crunch time and we're being really, really careful to not screw it up, which then, of course, when you're trying really hard not to screw something up, when you're gripping, you end up screwing it up. I would prefer if we understand that basketball is a contact sport and that you have to allow for people to play defense sometimes, and then also call out things that are not defense, like what I thought was the case with R.J. Davis. Again, that's a fundamental difference of how I saw the play going out, but I want to be clear about this. I'm okay with how it played out because it's humans doing this. Humans made the call, which gets us to the larger point in that if we all recognize that humans are doing it, I want to know what operates in your brain to think, well, that human is doing this on purpose against my team. Because that's another fascinating thing that I found out from Saturday to today, where it went from, Ovies, you're just out there throwing red meat to the Wolfpack. You're trying to just, co-sign that there's this conspiracy that they're out to get the Wolfpack. I go, no. I'm pointing out that officiating is pretty sketchy night in, night out. I say sketchy. I should say it's very questionable at times as to what they're doing. And there's a variety of reasons as to why. Replay is the biggest one. That's the biggest thing that's going on.
But I also think these guys, you have to understand, they're all graded. Okay?
Yeah, I know.
And you'd be surprised.
Who's going to replace them?
No. But what I'm getting at here is we're picking out the 4 or 5 plays in a game that we think might be wrong, but might turn out to be technically correct. Mm-hmm. Okay? So for 90% of the game, they get the calls right.
Sure they do.
And that might even be a low number.
Maybe.
But then all of a sudden we want to get into, and again, I have this problem with the NFL as well. We get into these super zoom, moment. It's like, oh, they did this, they did that. And it's like, let's watch. I have a new rule for replay.
Okay.
Let's watch it in real time.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
You know what I'm saying?
I would get rid of replay altogether.
Other than boundary plays. Like boundary plays, yes, did the person step out? Yes, we need that. We need this super slow. We need this. We need that. The rest of the stuff, let's watch it in real time. And you know what? If that's what happened, that's what happened.
I'll take it a step further, and I have no problem.
No,
admitting
we can't.
I've changed I've changed my mind on this completely. I used to be all in on replay, get the call right, all that stuff. It's made the product worse. Get rid of it. And then when you got a problem with it, Jim Phillips, Brian Kersey, whoever else should just come out with the sunglasses and the deal with it glasses come out. The ACC's Twitter account should have a GIF of sunglasses descending from the sky onto Brian Kersey, the head of officials now for the ACC, and it just goes, deal with it, and move on with your life. And then you can argue about it on social media all day, which has honestly made watching it with social media up kind of not fun.